Stefano Piraino, who is a professor of zoology and evolutionary biology at the University of Salento in Italy. He joins us now from Haarlem in the Netherlands. Thanks so much for speaking to us. We appreciate it. In the case first of the Suez Canal in the Mediterranean, Egypt and Israel are saying two different things. So if you can, you tell us how serious you think the damage is, how much has been lost, and can it be recovered?
Actually, the damage is quite high because more than 1,000 species, multicellular species, entered the Suez Canal, entered the Mediterranean Sea, and they are changing the biodiversity. Some of them may have a negligible impact on life in the Mediterranean, but some others are much more dangerous. Some of them are poisonous, venomous. Some of them have voracious predators, and they may outcompete the native species. This is at least for the visible species, the more conspicuous one, but also you should consider that there are invisible, non-visible species like vectors or like parasites that can affect life also of species of commercial interest, particularly in aquaculture farms.
Right. So tell me, the second part of my question there was actually how much of this can be reversed? Or is it usually the case that once these invasive species get in there, there's nothing you can do about it? No way.
No way, because there is not a single evidence of eradication of alien species entering in aquatic environments. So we only have to mitigate the impact and adapt, and possibly to use a solution to control further invasion.
Right. The case, though, at least is somewhat different on land, because we do have these same problems. We have had them for centuries. It needs to be said that destructive invasive species aren't just a water problem. The thing is, on land, most people really have no idea. For example, when they see pine trees or eucalyptus trees all over Africa, most people don't understand that those are also destructive invasive species. Does it help to get the population educated?
Absolutely, yes. Even if it's on land, there is some difference, because there are cases of it's possible to eradicate invasive species, but this is not the case because in the oceans you don't have any physical barrier, so the migration might be continuous, and this is what is happening to species entering to the Suez Canal in the Levantine Sea, so in the Eastern Mediterranean Sea, which are now moving westward, and then now entering even the Western Mediterranean Sea. Now the images are showing a lionfish, which is one of the new arrival in the Eastern Mediterranean. It's moving step by step. Now it's already in Greece, and very soon it will be along the Italian coastline.
Right. I'm curious, though, because there's this dispute over actually Egypt widening the Suez Canal, and that has helped introduce new invasive species. Is that actually the case? Because I would think that invasive species don't care if the canal is 40 kilometers or 150 kilometers. They can swim through just the same way. The route is there.
Yeah, actually, I would say the Suez Canal is a wonderful commercial waterway, but it's also the most potent biological corridor of invasion. Because when it was built 150 years ago, there was a big salinity barrier in the middle. There were what they were calling the bitter lakes, where the salinity was double the salinity in the sea. So it was a physiological impediment for the species to cross the Suez Canal. So what could be done now is for instance, to think to reestablish this salinity barrier, which slowly disappeared since 150 years ago to now, because of the doubling and the widening of the canal, which flushed more marine waters inside, so the salinity was diluted, now reaching all over the canal the same salinity values.
Okay.
But now the Egyptians are building desalination plants. A simple control way might be to put all the salt derived from the desalination process into the water in the middle of the Suez Canal. This would be very effective, and this is what the scientific community is asking since many years.
Just very quickly, are there any other trouble spots on the planet right now that you're particularly worried about?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Are there any other spots on the planet right now that you're particularly worried about, keeping your eye on, other than projects similar to the Suez Canal where there's a danger of invasive species being introduced?
Well, there are other canals in the world, but for instance, the Panama Canal has some dams, and there are also fresh water in the middle. So it's very rare the possibility that there's a natural passage of marine organisms one ocean to the other. Of course, any human biggest infrastructures, for instance, the Yangtze, the Three Gorge Dam on the Yangtze has modified the hydrological regimes in the Sea of Japan and China. And this has produced big changes.
Stefano Piraino, we're going to have to leave it there. I'd like to thank you so much for joining us on the NewsHour.